Responsible gambling beyond buzzwords. Tools, messaging, and cross-border frameworks.
So welcome, everyone. The gambling and the responsible gambling. Everyone knows almost everything about this, but do we really understand the topic? So my guests, Claudia Farrugia, Head of Operations at Mr. Q, an online casino. Claudia is a Head of Operations at Mr. Q and has over 10 years of experience in iGaming. Starting in compliance and moving into the operations, Claudia now drives strategic optimization and leads teams across the AML, safer gambling, fraud prevention, payments, and the regulatory assessments in multiple markets. Welcome, Claudia. Demos Katsis, Deputy Mayor of the city of Limassol in Cyprus. It's a great function, actually. Demos
half of the people here live in Limassol, you know. Half of the audience that is here.
Already. It's a very nice city, by the way. So Demos runs Katsis LLC across Cyprus, Dubai, and Athens. So have you split it already yourself in the 3 parts?
Yes.
Very good.
So
for the 2 decades already, he has advised iGaming companies on M&A, licensing, tax and payments, while also investing in the real estate and tech startups. Today, alongside the business, he serves as a deputy mayor of Limassol, as I mentioned, and calls himself a visionary, believing that true leaders make the world better. I absolutely agree. Last but not least, Tal Itzhak Ron.
Wow, you pronounced it amazing.
Of course.
Wow.
Itzhak. I know.
And it's from Poland originally.
Yes, exactly. So lawyer and a notary, Tal Ron, in the company Tal Ron, Dreham and Company law firm. Tal is working with affiliates, operators, and gaming platforms since 2003. Tal issues iGaming licenses through cooperation with the local governments and is a global expert on compliance and responsible gambling. Lady and gentlemen, so I would like to start with the definition of the responsible gambling and its real impact. So Demos, how do you differentiate the genuine responsible gambling initiatives from the superficial buzzword efforts?
First of all, I would like to say that I'm very happy to be in this panel. There are here people that they are family for me, like Tal. There are people that I just met, but I believe we can do amazing things together. So it's a real honor for me to be here to start with. I would also like to say very, very few words about the city of Limassol before I answer your question, because I really believe that the vision of us, the vision of our city, is a vision for you guys as well. It's a place that high net worth individuals, investors in this industry, I firmly believe that can establish themselves, be in this city, and share our vision to create a city which what I call is going to be first in all aspects and all angles. This is our goal. Turning now to your question about responsible gambling, what I try to do in my initiatives as a lawyer in my law firm is firstly to scrutinize the people that I'm going to work with. Who are these guys? How well do they know the market? Where do they plan to invest? Are they serious in terms of data protection? Are they serious in terms of licenses? Are they willing to enhance due diligence on the people that they are going to onboard? Are they willing to have a legal team? How are they willing to structure their corporations? How are they willing to invest on know-how, on technology, on innovation? So in general, for me, what I do, I start by checking the people that I'm going to work with. This is the most important in this business, because the business of gaming and gambling is generating so much attention worldwide. I
Yes.
really believe that this market currently outbeats markets that they were way stronger in the past, like the Forex industry, for example. Our market now, the market that we try to serve, is the leading market in terms of revenues, in terms of global revenues that are related with it. So we need to start by searching the people that we're going to work with.
I cannot agree more. It's all about the people at the end. So Tal, you are issuing the gaming licenses all over the world. So have you split it yourself as well in many different persons? So some of them are offshore. How can you make sure that the operators act responsibly?
First of all, before I address it, I just want to say, when we start, always I like to thank the organizers. Kat, you see, this is Kat, by the way. Kat is from Sigma. Kat is actually responsible for lots of all this marvelous content that you see here in this event. I can tell you, I was sure that Kat is a virtual someone because we're chatting all the time on WhatsApp to organize this. Now I see that she's great.
She's real.
Amazing. Yeah. So,
Kat, fantastic that you are real.
Thank you so much. I'm here since 2014, since the first Sigma. I don't know if some of you weren't born here, babies, 2014. And it's amazing to see how everything has been evolved since, with the Manpuris. The first one, demos, was in the Intercontinental. Yeah, probably Claudia was also there. In the Intercontinental, now we're 11 years after here. It's amazing to see how Sigma has been progressing over there. Now in this session, in every event, there's always on responsible gaming. I think it's probably one of my most favorite topics. Why? Because when we issue, and that's back to your question, when we issue a license offshore, people think that if you license an offshore license we call it like in a banana republic, if you issue it and it's not really a banana republic, but this is like, if you see the serious guys like, Wojciech from Poland or from Austria, and then you see like the licenses, let's say in Anjouan, in Curacao, in Nevis, or in the, in other republicans in the Caribbean, it looks to you like, like the white or the black. And I really don't think it should be like that. And that's important. That's my thing. I think at the end of the day that offshore licensees, people who hold licenses in the offshore world can be legit, can be compliant, not less than if you're holding a UK Gambling Commission license. This is my thing. I really think it's all depending on the licensees. And if people will mitigate the risk, and how they say in Malta, they like to say it, to mitigate. It's very, very, very important. If we mitigate the risk all together as stakeholders in the industry, even if you have an Anjouan license, a Curacao license, you can still work with very high standards and make sure that you're still compliant and can still make a lot of money, even though you're work compliant.
Thank you. Claudia, dear Claudia, technology is now a permanent part of our lives. That's why I would like to ask you, what new technologies are proving the most effective in identifying at-risk players at the early stage?
So first of all, Tal, I was there in 20. Once you identify it, though, that's only halfway. You've done nothing at that point. You need to understand what's the next step. Do I want the human element to intervene at that point and create trust with the player, or can I lean into AI even more, which is, of course, something you can do. There are tools like open banking as well that help us see the transactions of the player and help us give us what that behavior is. So it's up to you. It's up to the business perspective that you have. But I think timing, I would say, is crucial to have something that is robust and that it lives to your values, to what you have, creating an element of mix between the human side and the technology side.
So supported by BI and AI then, the human decision.
Exactly.
Fantastic. These tools should work for us. So Kevin, can you share an example where an RG program truly changed player behavior or prevent the harm?
Come again, I didn't hear you. Kevin is not...
Sorry. Very sorry. Tal.
No.
Or maybe somebody would like to answer this question. Do you have some examples?
What is the question again? I didn't hear you.
Examples about examples about where the RG program truly changed the behavior or prevented the harm.
I'm not an expert in programs myself, but in my point of view, what I see from my clients that they are incorporating in terms of technology is definitely what you just said, the introduction of AI in the products that we are doing. This is what I've seen from a legal perspective. I've seen a lot of investments and a lot of money going on in how we incorporate AI in the industry, how do we use it in order effectively to scrutinize our players. But most importantly, what I see now is a lot of trends on how these tools are going to be used in order to expand in new markets. And now, for example, in Limassol, we have a bunch of guys that they are establishing these new platforms that they are going to spread in terms of advertising and promoting.
Yeah. Tal, as a lawyer with a strong background in the computer science, can you also test your iGaming clients' technology? And how are you doing it, if so?
Listen, if we're speaking about testing technologies, we can say it openly. There's like a monopoly. They're friends of us, they're partners of us, gaming lab, GLI, Gaming Laboratories International. Everybody knows them, James Mada is a cool guy. We do have our own test lab to test. It's more for the offshore licensing. And again, I think it's very interesting to see that there's all the time promotion. I'm trying really to build my own ecosystem, and we do it day by day, year by year, and every year it's more and more partners. We're doing stuff with Demos. Demos, actually, we met him in February in Dubai. And then, in April, he came to my birthday in Tel Aviv, yeah? And then, we're now sitting with Claudia. Let's see what's happening, Now we're doing...
Claudia, you will come to Tal's birthday, guys, in Vyacheslav,
Exactly.
This is a meeting point.
No, it's absolutely... Listen, now we have Settle Card. We have with Mr. Yarin Kobo also here. We are doing stuff with Rapid. We're doing stuff with Liran. We're doing with the iGaming Takedown, with News BTC. I think that this ecosystem is something that is all the time getting more. And you see even Sigma, they have their own affiliate network. You see that everything is now becoming more and more larger. There's stuff in Dubai payments, everybody now does more. But I think that the idea is that compliance, Wojciech, hasn't become now only a challenge, it became an opportunity. Because Demos, if you work clean, you can do lots of money. Be clean, still make lots of money, even more.
Fully agree. In what Tal said, which is a lot of part of what we are discussing today, is the transparency in this business, how transparent you are. And my advice as a lawyer to investors is invest on your brand, invest on your name, invest on your procedures, show to the players that you really mean business. So be careful about your reputation. The reputation, especially in this business.
Credibility and reputation.
Credibility. How serious we are with remittance payments. How serious you are with keeping safe the money of your clients. How willing you are to show that you have licenses in various jurisdictions. So you are really willing to protect and confirm local legislation, whether you want to go globally or not. How willing you are in order to have the correct mechanism even in safeguarding your own affairs. What risk elements you have inside your company, meaning what kind of lawyers you're going to use if a crisis appears. All this enhance the reputation. And the big players that I see now in the market are those that they follow these guidelines, in my point of view.
Absolutely.
And I think the idea that it is an opportunity is nice as well, because we've opened up our eyes to the idea that gambling is a form of entertainment. Now that puts us in competition with the likes of TikTok, with people going to the pub. It adds an element of competition, but it also gives you more opportunity to see it as an entertainment product rather than just siloed as just gambling.
Yes, Claudia, when you're at the mic, speaking about the challenges, what are the biggest challenges operators face when trying to implement the responsible gambling policies across, especially the multiple jurisdictions?
I've started working in gaming within the compliance side. So My job at the very beginning was just checklist and making sure you are compliant in every way. No operator wants to be having nightmares about an upcoming assessment and whether we are going to manage to pass that. So there's an element of compliance and checklist that will always need to be embedded within your product. The challenge lies in the idea that if you just follow that checklist, you end up with a whole list of rules and nuances that then create complexities, whether it is within the operational teams that are trying to switch from one jurisdiction to another, or whether it is in the product itself that ends up very heavy-handed then. So what I found that works is there are points when you need to apply compliance, lock, stock, and barrel in certain rules. There's no leeway. In other points, you can take a step back and understand who you are as a business, what you want to be known for, even at the risk of being slightly over-compliant in certain markets. But if it's something that you strongly believe in, you should favor the product over a checklist that might be just a checklist that will help you pass an audit, but will make you lose your identity ultimately.
Yes, would you like to add something, Tal, to that? Because I see you that you would love to.
No, the funny stuff is, again, Malta, now we see that, like, it's not now only, and I see it like with you, Claudia, and other exhibitors, we're not only here only as a regulation. I see like it really is a gaming ecosystem here. It's funny, the many companies that even left Malta as a jurisdiction, they're not licensed anymore as an operation, as an MGA, but they still are based in Malta because of the personnel. And I think that part of the good thing is that Malta is still excels in the idea of the compliance, because at the end of the day, it all deals with compliance. Even if you're regulated in Don Juan, or in Curaçao, or in the MGA, or gambling compliance, or the gaming commission, the GC, you still need to be very focused on compliance, on compliance. And this is something, I think that there are lots of people here who are the brands have been growing, like from BetConstruct and VBet and everything. You see several years, and they become more and more and more. And I think it's the reputational risk, Wojciech, for someone who's working not compliant is very, very big. Therefore, we'll continue to see companies continue working compliant, testing their software. The payments will continue to be reliant on good KYC. I think it's really important, you know.
So it's never-ending story.
It's a never-ending story, but you know, when people tell me, listen, Tal, can you offer us payment without KYC? I know, it's so funny, but that's you know, that's a niche.
Yeah.
I'm not of this game, because for us, everything needs to be clean. Pay taxes and work properly, you can still make lots of money.
Demos, I would like to ask you now, how do you advise the operators to manage the conflict requirements between countries? Because for sure there are some, right?
Yes, of course. With operators, firstly, I start by viewing their own structure. How do they themselves operate? So what I do personally in my practice is see, first of all, how themselves operate on the level of their structure. And in my opinion, operators themselves in the future need to be a bit more sophisticated, both on the level, I'm talking about their internal affairs, first of all. So in my view, what I strongly advise to people is separate the licenses, have different licenses in each jurisdiction, separate a lot the issue of the IP, where the IP is very important in order to be in a position to diversify the operation from the software rights. So what I try to do is always build an IP box company, which I consider can be very, very important because it keeps the licensing rights and it has also the power to afterwards sublease this license to other operators as well. So if you have a strong software, you don't keep it on the level of operation. Then, very important is the issue of data protection that they need to check in various jurisdictions, what procedures they apply, and what I always do in each jurisdiction that they operate, I like to be a very practical lawyer. Legal opinions from domestic lawyers about how do you operate, what you need to do, what you need to avoid. For example, a very big structure now is licensing as one payment agent in Cyprus. have a legal opinion on this, how it will work. And sometimes in this industry, I see people investing millions, but with all modesty being stingy about very small amounts. You need to invest a lot on your legal protection. And always have a mechanism on how to deal with small issues and small complaints in each jurisdiction.
You know, you spoke about the legal opinions. I have to pick it up. People come to us and say, listen, Tal, can you maybe give me a legal opinion? You know, we also issue licenses, Anjuan, etc. Can you issue a license that I can use an Anjuan license to accept US clients with cryptocurrency without KYC? And I say like this, you know, the funny stuff, I'm here, I have my booth here also, we're exhibiting here. We have even our, you know, like lawyer, notary stamp. But listen, Tal, you can write it. You know, I'm seeing here Coral is operation manager at Settlcard, one of the payment companies we work with. And I can tell you, we hear it all the time. Maybe it's a piece of paper, just write this. So the legal opinion thing has become very popular. Also, when we work together, me and you, in May, in the conference in Cyprus, in the island conference, I saw a guy selling legal opinions. He wasn't even a lawyer. 2,000 euro, take a legal opinion. You know, I'm sitting here in Malta, I can write you a legal opinion for 2,000 euro. I'm sitting now in New York on the beach. It doesn't work. It doesn't work, and it won't work. At the end of the day, so the legal opinion is important, but only if you see it as part of something more, and it's good.
Tal,
you can use it, but only
otherwise the life would be very boring, right?
Absolutely.
If you wouldn't have situations.
Absolutely.
So we have some questions, but the first one, I will pick the first one because the other two we pretty much answered. So on the scale from 1 to 10, 1 the worst, 10 the best, I like this kind of questions always. How may recent advertising restrictions in Asia, example Gracia, India, Philippines, impact European providers? Would somebody like to answer this question?
Listen, I don't know if UK is part of Europe. Officially, you know, UK left the Britain in 2021. But there is a big thing now. We have Chinese clients, Chinese operators who actually sponsor some, without mentioning names, sponsor some really big shot league. I'm not into football and football, but in sports league, there's a big thing now, very, very big thing because of the restriction, because they say, listen, if these guys are targeting Asia, they're Chinese, how come are they, advertising in the UK? In the UK, if they're not licensed by the GC. So it's a big thing now, you know, but it still exists. For me, it's very funny, but we still do it, you know? So it is interesting. It's a challenge.
Yep. Would like to somebody add something to that? Or okay, fine.
I would like to add, because we have now in Cyprus, we established many companies that they do the role of the promoter. That effectively they use a lot of advertising tools, call centers, and this kind of stuff. In my opinion, we are somewhere in the middle. There is a lot of effect, and there are restrictions and regulations in this respect. But in my view, a lot depends on how serious you are in tackling these issues. And we need to forget the ideas of the past, you know, that you can do whatever you want in this market and that it is unregulated. We need to go with the new environment and the new era ahead of us. We have guys in this room that are multi-billion dollars companies, guys. This is, and because Tal said this before, this show started in 2014, and it was like El Dorado back then, in the sense that you could do whatever you want. Now we have players that, for example, now I'm involved in listed companies that are going to become listed, guys, very soon, for the first time. We're talking about groups that they are going to go worldwide in terms of investors. So let's be serious. Let's invest in sustainability. That's
absolutely. As a summarizing of our great panel, as a takeaway for our audience, my dear guests, one essential sentence from every one of you, or a core advice, what would it be? If you would essentialize everything that we were speaking about, just the core advice. Claudia, please.
You need to believe in what you're offering, your identity, who you are, what your product is. Move away from a culture of compliance and go to a culture of responsibility. That's the way that you will be able to talk to your people, talk to your players a bit quicker.
I like it. You need to believe what you are offering. Demos?
If I make 2 words, first of all, about the industry, I would say something very, very simple. Invest in it. Invest in everything which is related with substance, technology, innovation, and ideas. And don't be afraid to build on it and build structures that will be sustainable for the future. This, in my core notion as a person, you said it before, is the vision. Don't concentrate only on short term. Concentrate on long-term investments. And the second point, believe in Limassol. Limassol is the future. Never forget this.
It's the center of the
really
world.
Limassol forever.
Yes.
Limassol,
Tal?
specifically the old center, by the way, near the office of Demos. My one thing, and it'll be short because we're over time, diversify. Try and diversify. Don't focus on one platform, one game, one everything. I have clients who do only one, only on the US, only on mobile, and then something happened, everything. I know it on myself also. I'm not doing only gaming. Doing gaming, payments, cyber, and everything. To diversify, I think that's the key. That's my thing. Guys, thank you so much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. So, dear audience, you need to believe in what you are offering and then invest strongly in the substance. And don't be afraid doing it. And when you have done it, diversify. Diversify your portfolio. This is a takeaway for you from our stage and my guests. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Wojciech. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Boyd.